Anti-government protests are rising again inside Iran. University students are rallying on campuses, encouraged by a message of hope through a mass text they all received.
Meanwhile, as President Trump considers launching a military strike, he's defending his top general. CBN Middle East correspondent Paul Petit has the latest from Jerusalem.
Protests are growing louder in Iran. For the third straight day, students are defying the regime, this time at the all-female Al-Zahra University. Students chanted in Farsi, saying for each person killed, 1,000 stand behind them. The demonstrations follow memorials marking 40 days since the government cracked down on anti-government protesters, killing tens of thousands. Iran State News Agency reports similar protests erupted at 5 universities across the capital since Saturday. Multiple Middle East news outlets reported that Iranian anti-regime protesters received a mass text in Farsi saying President Trump is a, quote, man of action, wait and see. The anonymous message comes as the president weighs whether to strike Iran after issuing a 10-day ultimatum last Thursday. Posting on Truth Social Monday, Trump warned, if we don't make a deal, it will be a very bad day for that country and, very sadly, its people. In the same post, Trump denied reports that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is against military action. Calling the reports about General Daniel Kane fake news, Trump posted that he only knows one thing, how to win, and, if he is told to do so, he will be leading the pack. But according to the Wall Street Journal, General Kane warned Trump that a prolonged conflict could incur significant cost to U.S. forces and national stockpiles. Trump responded, saying, General Kane, like all of us, would like not to see war. But if a decision is made on going against Iran at a military level, it is his opinion that it will be something easily won. In Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed the Knesset Monday, telling members that Israel is ready.
No one knows what the future holds. We are vigilant. We are prepared for any scenario. I passed on and clarified to the regime of the Ayatollahs that if they make perhaps the gravest mistake in their history and attack the state of Israel, we will respond with a force they cannot even imagine.
Iran responded with warnings of its own.
Any state would react to an act of aggression as part of its inherent right of self-defense ferociously. So that's what we would do.
Another round of talks are confirmed to begin Thursday in Geneva, according to Oman's foreign minister and negotiation mediator, posting that there is a positive push to go the extra mile towards finalizing the deal. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, we'll see how these negotiations go. It's within 48 hours, we'll know one way or the other. Let's continue to pray for the people of Iran. They do not deserve this theocracy that is quite clearly trying to kill them. Anyone who protests against them is subject to execution. The mass killings that happened on the streets as the army was unleashed on their own population. These things are horrific to imagine, but that's what happened within Iran. And this is something that, in my opinion, means they no longer have the right to govern. And the international community needs to be allied on this, that no, we can't have a terror sponsor, we can't have a terror state, we can't have a theocracy that murders their own people. That should not exist in the modern world. And we'll see what happens, but please continue to pray. In other news, the Northeast is digging out after an historic blizzard dropped 2 to 3 feet of snow. Ephraim Graham has that story and more from the CBN Newsroom. Ephraim?
Gordon, the bomb cyclone that battered the area Sunday and Monday affected some 40 million people. Hundreds of thousands are without power in the dark and in the cold. As Charlene Aaron reports, it may take days for things to return to normal.
It's being called the strongest winter storm in years, dumping more than 2 feet of snow across the region. Crews are working to restore electricity for thousands who lost power across several states. Residents in the Northeast are digging out after the brutal monster storm slammed the region.
I don't know if you can even see me. The wind is brutal. I couldn't even get the car door open to get out to show you the conditions.
In New York, over 300 trees toppled due to heavy snow. The so-called bomb cyclone dumped more than 3 feet of snow in parts of Rhode Island, shattering records.
The blizzard of 26 has now officially surpassed the blizzard of 78 for the most snow ever recorded in a single snowstorm in our Rhode Island state history.
Cleanup could take a while.
How long do you think that this is going to take to clean up?
Like mid-April.
So I'd say like a week.
Massachusetts saw more than 30 inches, leaving more than 250,000 people in the dark. Families in New Jersey also without power.
You either got to get our power on or plow, because we don't want to sleep here tonight.
Treacherous conditions paused public transit, and blizzard warnings stretch 600 miles up and down the I-95 corridor. At the nation's airports, more than 11,000 flights were grounded. While some travel bans are easing, airlines warn it could take days to get back on schedule.
We're trying desperately to get home to the West Coast.
I've been trying to get to like Philly or DC, but there's no flights till like Wednesday or Thursday.
As residents dig out, even more snow is forecast across the region Tuesday night and later this week. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
President Trump addresses Congress tonight in the first State of the Union speech of his second term. He'll address the military buildup in the Middle East and possible strike on Iran. The economy is expected to be the major focus, just days after the United States Supreme Court struck down his tariff policies. The president harshly criticized members of the Supreme Court, some of whom could be in the audience tonight. High prices are a concern for Americans as housing, daycare, medical expenses, and everyday items are squeezing people's wallets. A recent poll shows the president's approval at less than 42%. You can watch CBN's live coverage of the State of the Union on our YouTube channel beginning this evening at 9. We'll also have a recap and analysis of the speech on Wednesday's 700 Club. Today marks 4 years since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The casualties, those killed, wounded, and missing, add up to nearly 2 million soldiers on both sides. Russia suffering 2 million casualties, with up to 325,000 killed. Ukrainian forces are at about 600,000 casualties, with as many as 140,000 deaths. U.S.-sponsored peace talks are making little progress. We'll have more on this important story this week here on the 700 Club. Worldwide, some 80 million people are in need of a wheelchair. Many are left to crawl or be carried by others because of a lack of resources. Others stay hidden away. Now, 2 faith-based ministries are working to change their situations by delivering the gift of mobility and the message of Christ to those who need it most. CBN's Brody Carter has this story.
In many parts of the world, a wheelchair can mean the difference between a life in the dirt and a life with dignity.
We feel motivated by Jesus to do this work. In a way, it's sort of an homage to all of the things that Jesus did when he was here, which is serving the most marginalized. The Bible says the least of these.
That's the heartbeat behind Free Wheelchair Mission, a ministry built on a simple design and relentless faith. Each chair provided is built to last, made for rough terrain to those like DeWitt in Ethiopia or Linda in Guatemala. The gift offers newfound freedom, a chance to rejoin their community, and a tangible sign that God has not forgotten them.
When I bend down and I give out a wheelchair, and that person is praying for me, and I think when I go there that I'm going to be telling them about Jesus, and they're actually showing me who Jesus is.
That mission begins at their Southern California headquarters and spreads across 95 countries with more than 1.5 million wheelchairs delivered. Joining them in answering this call is Johnny and Friends, which refurbishes chairs through its Wheels for the World program.
And we have 12 prisons throughout the United States that recondition those as a part of our ministry. We get all the parts together, we do the training, and these prisoners who are often recommended by chaplains work in a Johnny wheelchair restoration center in 12 prisons throughout the U.S.
President Sean Thornton says each reconditioned set of wheels is only the beginning. The ministry also hosts family retreats for families living with a wide range of disabilities. Worldwide, an estimated 1.3 billion people live with a disability. And according to Thornton, many of those must still fight for access to churches that have deemed the least of these an inconvenience.
The church just doesn't want the uncomfortableness or the disruption of a wheelchair sitting in an aisle or something. They're asked not to come back. A common thread of families is that they're told, you're not welcome here because you're too disruptive.
Since the Americans with Disabilities Act does not cover churches, Thornton estimates only about 5% in the U.S. are fully accessible. This reality fills the need that both organizations seek to fill.
In that wheelchair, we allow for that person, especially those that are believers and have been praying for one, to see in a tangible way that they are loved and not forgotten by him.
Although the work is far from over, each smile from someone lifted out of the dirt proves a simple chair can be a vehicle for a miracle. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Mobility and accessibility are easily taken for granted. Gordon?
Well, I was at a wheelchair distribution in the Philippines, and it was absolutely moving. A young man came, and he brought his, the only way he could get around was a little makeshift cart that he had assembled himself, and it had these wheels on the bottom, all homemade, wooden, and the joy on his face when he got a brand new wheelchair, and the excitement that now he could go to places he didn't have access to before. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful ministry. If you want more news, more information about that wheelchair ministry, you can find it at cbnnews.com.